joining us for our healthy living tips on Mondays with myself, Anuschka Alborzian. I'm an empowerment health coach and energy healer.
And I'm Dr. Rachael Meir, a clinical and health psychologist and also health and wellness advocate.
And today's topic is nutrition for kids. That's a huge one, and definitely I believe children are our future. And I believe that it is not only important for every single one of us to, of course, be healthy, have our nutrients in our body, to live a very well life, but I really believe it's really even more important for children.
Totally agree. And so much of it because they don't always know, and we're guiding them and teaching them and mentoring them and coaching them. And health and longevity, it's a lifelong process, and the earlier you can instill those habits and ingrain in good practices, the easier it is, I think, as you age.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's exactly that, because a lot of times with society and having, things like Halloween or just, which is fun, right? If it's like the one time a year, it's the one thing. But it's like, I feel like you go anywhere and any grocery store and it's like chocolate and candy and sugars everywhere. And that's actually one of the studies. They say an average child consumes more sugar than they do vegetables or fruit. Right. And so when you hear that, it's like, okay, well, what can we do to shift these habits for children, create healthy, yummy snacks, healthy, yummy food, because you can make nutritious food delicious. And right. Of course, having healthy options like isogenics, right?
Right. And so much of today's society and our day and age is on the go, rush, rush, rush. Many parents that are working multiple jobs, trying to figure out how to feed their families and fit in all of their requirements. And so things that are easy, things that are quick often become packaged foods, become things that are marketed, unfortunately, as healthy. But if you really know nutrition and understand what's in it, tends to be a box of empty calories and nothing nutritious, and just more sugar and more chemicals than you need. And that is why, as much as you and I have promoted and talked about isogenics year after year now, when it comes to kids especially, it's that ease, that convenience, and knowing that you can just trust that they've done that research, they've done the work, that what you're putting into your child's body is the utmost best nutrition, and it tastes good, which is the most important thing for kids. Right.
It's so delicious. And just to add to that too, it's like we have to lead by example. It's us that make that example for them to follow, what type of relationship to have towards food, and have like a positive relationship with healthy food, rather than being like, ew, broccoli, gross. There's ways to make broccoli taste good. I swear there is. It really is about you creating that as an adult, right? And then, of course, the healthy, convenient options that isogenics provides makes such a difference. I know now that it's been over for like 5.5 years that I've been using isogenics, my younger brothers, who the oldest one now is like 23. So they started using it when they were much younger, in their teens, middle school, and they loved it. And they still do, of course. They're just a bit older. My point is, though, because of the taste and because it's like almost like having ice cream, it's almost like, in a way, tricking them into thinking that, hey, look, here's a treat, right? Here's my treat, by the way.
And they don't know it's necessarily good for them. Right. I love it. And we have so many posts in our health and wellness group online where the kiddos are asking for their iso shake every morning rather than their oatmeal, or rather than cereal that's, loaded with sugars. So that's just awesome.
Yeah. And even just adding the extra, and it's right, like, and of course the bars, and there's so many different options too. We'll post this link actually that talks about not just isogenics, but in general, what a difference it makes for kids to have healthy nutrition on a daily basis, and how it's going to really create, they're growing, right? So kids need the nutrients for those growth spurts and everything else, and having the most amount of energy and
right.
Yeah, all of it, right?
And as a psychologist, so many people, or, one of the biggest concerns I have is how many kiddos are diagnosed with things like ADHD and a lot of other emotional health or mental health kinds of struggles. And there's a lot of literature and a lot of research on nutrient deficiency that can mimic and look like the symptoms that you see in some of these other diagnoses. And if we could address at the root cause some of those vitamin and mineral and nutrient deficiencies, I know that kids would, function better, do better, have more concentration, have more energy, be more focused, for sure.
Yeah, the focus. And that's something that, of course, like that's huge. It's really clearing the fog, which a lot of times sugar and all these other empty calorie type of foods that are out there that create it. Not to say don't have them have any. I mean, I know I was
of course
getting my little McDonald's, those little, I don't even know if they do that anymore.
Yeah.
McDonald's and Sony, but I loved it to get the little toy, right? And okay, maybe like once every other week or whatever that looks like for each family. But really just creating that healthy relationship, having them help you prep food, maybe like making art with it. I have a friend on Facebook and she has these classes where she has kids help with prepping food and making cute little designs and whatnot, and actually makes kids want to eat it more, right? So it's like there's so many ways around it to really get kids to
excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly. To have that excitement. Absolutely.
Right. And you just look at, I'm actually just looking at this list of of products that we have available, and just in general, I don't even know if my parents thought about it for me growing up, but how much fiber I was getting in my diet, or right now with needing to boost our immune systems, having our isoimmune with zinc is great for kiddos to try to just have that enhancement with their immune systems, or vitamin C, another thing that we know is just so important to keep those, antioxidant productions and keep your immune system strong. How many of your kiddos are just, you're throwing a granola bar or some sort of trail mix in their bag that you could switch it to a high protein isolene bar, or the fiber that you need, good healthy snacks. The list goes on and on of all these options.
Again, that are delicious, by the way.
That are delicious and easy on parents. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the, even like the chips, like they can have, I'm like looking to see, because I love this, but we're going to post this article. I love it because it actually shows ages, like what age and older can have the various products. And then of course, always, if you choose to check with your doctor, by all means, that's something we recommend too, just for your own peace of mind, really. But what I love is just literally list all these things. And for the kids that don't like vegetables, I actually was one of them. I actually was like one that I felt like forced. There was times I remember my parents would give me turnip, and because I wasn't feeling well, and they're like, eat it. And I would cry. I would eat it, but I would cry while eating it. And I'm really happy that my parents did that. Some kids are like, I see some parents are like, oh, they don't like this. And so they just are okay with letting the kid not have it. I know I'm going to be making my kid eat it. If it's healthy, I don't care. Anyhow, that's besides the point. But if they don't like vegetables, at least giving them the greens, for instance, which gives them those 2 servings of
organic vegetables.
And they even have a fruits one, for instance. And all these are 4+. Like I ate before,
and it's got this delicious like mint cucumber taste. You can mix it up with some of the, like can make almost like a Kool-Aid type of a drink out of it, and the kids love it. And then they're getting all of these vegetable servings just like that. Right. It's fabulous and so easy.
Yeah. So that's
same thing with the fruits, because fruit, although again, really nutritious and a lot of vitamins and nutrients, one, we know that the fruit today just doesn't have nearly the same quantity. We've talked about this over and over, but it does come with a lot of sugar. So it still is something that too much of it is a bad thing, but being able to have our stick of fruits, again, tastes like Kool-Aid, kids love it, all of the same antioxidants and micronutrition, but without the added sugar.
Exactly. So and with way less sugar. Exactly. Because it's like
1 gram.
Yeah. Like nothing. Whereas you eat an apple for like a medium-sized apple is 14 grams of sugar.
Right.
And I know people don't even realize it. Sometimes I remember I used to share about the sugar, like, oh, but it's got 11 grams. I mean, now thankfully our shakes are like really low. I love it. Dairy free is like 1 gram of sugar. That's all, guys. That's it.
Right.
And
Right.
and even that, I remember people would make comments. I'm like, but do you eat an apple?
Right.
Because I'm like, you're getting more sugar in an apple.
Right. Than a whole meal. Right. Exactly. Or like the hydrate is another great
Oh yeah.
product that I love for kiddos, especially, you know, the winter months, probably some of the activity settles down a little bit more, but maybe not when you're in San Diego. You're out playing volleyball all the time. Here I am looking at the snow in Colorado. But when kids are active and when they're playing a lot and running around and having a good sports drink, electrolyte replacement drink that again doesn't have all the added sugar like some of the other ones that are out there marketed as healthy. Yes, getting those electrolytes are great, but do it with something that doesn't have sugar and that doesn't have the added, you know, chemicals or the artificial sweeteners or sugar, right?
Yeah, totally. And just in general, there's many times like something will, like you said, something will say, oh, healthy, a snack or whatever, even nuts. I've noticed like recently, I read every single ingredient now because I don't understand. I keep telling them, like, I don't understand. Why is this needed to get more sugar added to it? It naturally has sugar.
Right.
So much sugar is added.
Yeah.
That's something I would highly recommend for everyone else out there is just look at the ingredients and look at the added sugar. You'll notice it. If it's just not added, it'll just say sugar, but and then it'll have a separate line that says added sugar. And many times that's even more. And that's ridiculous to me.
I always look at the sugar, I look at the food coloring, I look at just the number of ingredients on the label. If you're past 5 ingredients, really starting to dive in and look at what are all of those and why are they necessary. If you look at a Luna bar, I think is one of the best examples. There's usually 3 ingredients. It's like dates, pecans, and cherries or something, right? And that's it. It's coming from actual whole food. And yes, it's in a package, but it's absolutely fine because there's 3 ingredients that you can read the names and you know what they are versus some of these other cereals and things that, you know, half the box, you can't even read the names. And what is it? That should be a sign that it's probably not good putting in your body.
Yeah. So, I mean, although some of the different, I know with isogenic, some of those ingredients also I may not understand. And I know that's just like the scientific term of them.
Right. Like vitamin E is.
Yeah. Or like, wasn't like blueberry. I remember it was like this long name that I can't even pronounce.
Good point. Good point.
So it's also just getting more familiar with what each ingredient is, because sometimes you may not understand what it says and it may actually not be what
bad for you.
Yeah, but what you think it, what you think it is. So
that's a good point. Very valid point. Yeah.
I'm checking to see if there's any questions around that. Otherwise, we'll definitely post the link to this article, which will give you a lot more information around it. And as always, if you do have children or you don't, doesn't matter. But if you want to take your health and well-being to the next level, your family's health and well-being to the next level, reach out to either one of us. We're always more than happy to share the amazing products here with you because we call ourselves ISA lifers because of the amount of impact it's had in both of our lives, both health-wise, by the way, as well as, of course, how we both got in to lose weight. And now we've stayed for the health purposes. So
Absolutely. Never felt better. And now happy birthday to Anuschka, who just turned 40 and looks absolutely amazing. And I think a big portion of that is definitely dietogenics.
Absolutely. And especially now with the collagen release, I'm just like, I keep like looking, I'm like, oh,
these glowing
disappeared.
Yeah.
I started to get these lines and I'm noticing
it's really changing.
My joints feel amazing. I need to actually post about it because I'm really starting to feel the difference more than anything.
That's awesome. You're glowing on your glow up challenge. You're glowing.
Glowing from inside out, baby. Thanks all for listening and tuning in. Till next time, have a wonderful rest of your Monday.
Bye.
Bye.